Let me set the scene. It's August 15th, 2011. Summer break is ending soon, and I'm about to start 7th grade. I'm scrolling through cable TV to find something to watch. This is before the age of streaming, if you can believe it. Out of nowhere, a program called Monday Night Raw catches my eye. I selected it, and the first thing I saw was a guy about 6'7", rocking a beard that I could only dream of, defending his actions from the night before. He was talking about SummerSlam, where he screwed over the champion after the match, slamming him down for what looked like at least 10 feet in the air, and another guy runs out, giving his briefcase to the ref he dragged out and won the title. After some time, the former champ comes out and calls out his BS. He believes that the attacker's friend, who acted as a special guest referee, told him to do so. The other guy says otherwise.
Would you like to see the text message on my telephone?
You want to see the text message my little sister Shalene sent me last night? OMG, Kevin Nash, WTF, thought he was dead, LOL.
I blame this man for my wrestling hyperfixation. These two are named Kevin Nash and CM Punk, and they were, and still are, a part of World Wrestling Entertainment, or WWE for short. What was once a small regional promotion is now a global phenomenon with over 1 billion followers across multiple social media platforms and counting. What's the best way I can describe it? A live-action shonen anime, a soap opera for men that could always do with more gratuitous violence in their lives if theater people were allowed to beat the ever-living crap out of each other. Granted, matches are predetermined, it's more gymnastics than fighting, and it's not even close to actual wrestling where two people do grabbles and takedowns to pin their opponent or gain enough points before time runs out to win the match. Why do I like this?
To be honest, the majority of wrestling or sports entertainment or whatever you call it kinda sucks. What makes it great to watch is when it creates moments that can resonate with you and transcend the wrestling world. Long-term storytelling, bending reality from fiction, and having to fight your way to the top of a very competitive industry is what makes it compelling for me. Of course, with a property like this, there are plenty of video games to choose from. Full disclosure, I think I grew up in the wrong era.
The first official WWE video game released was Micro League Wrestling in 1987 and housed some great titles along the way. The WrestleMania series, In Your House, No Mercy, Shut Your Mouth, Here Comes the Pain, SmackDown vs. Raw series, and many more. For me, I wanted the newest title being released, and the first wrestling game I've ever played was this. WWE 12 was released on November 22nd, 2011. It promoted itself with Randy Orton on the cover and using the tagline, bigger, badder, better. It uses the Predator technology, which made the game look more realistic compared to the previous title, SVR 2011. It also has better physics and collision detection was less problematic. The reception was pretty decent, but I remember Game Informer, the gaming magazine that was provided with your GameStop Pro membership, giving it a 5.5 out of 10. As a kid, this pissed me the hell off. I thought this was at least an 8. Then again, I was a dumb kid who didn't know any better. Now that I'm a grown-ass kid, let's see if this game holds up for me. Time to elbow drop into WWE 12.
This is why they say never try this at home.
I'm not sure if it's my patience, but this game and the others I'll talk about later takes so damn long to load. Maybe it's connecting to the servers or loading all the assets / data, but it doesn't even have online support anymore. Shit, is this game that old? Once it finally loads, it has a few modes to mess around. You can jump into a normal match where you win via pinfall or submission. To do so, you must utilize strikes, grapples, Irish whips, and slams to wear down your opponent. These you perform with the press of a button. If you want to target a specific limb, just hold the bumper and select what part you want to damage. You can also reverse at just the right moment to counter. The more you attack, the more you build up momentum and can use a signature move followed by a finisher which does major damage. When you get pinned, you have to get the bar to the colored area to kick out and spam all the buttons if you're in a submission move. The gameplay is simple but effective compared to the chain grappling and multiple lifts in future games. You can win by countout, which is having your opponent outside the ring for a 10 count or getting them disqualified if the referee sees them use a weapon or a dirty move. There are other match types that have no countouts nor disqualification, including, but not limited to, ladders, tables, chairs, falls count anywhere, last man standing, steel cage, and Hell in a Cell. There's also tag team matches, triple threats, fatal four-ways, Royal Rumble. You can go hog wild with these options. There are customization options with creating a wrestler, a finishing move, arena, and your mother. Another mode is WWE Universe, which is a fun mode that lets you create matches, rivalries, and storylines. Personally, it's not for me. I do like a good storyline, but if you put me on the creative team, I would get fired the second I opened my mouth. Probably for suggesting that Cena turns heel. The one mode that is more up my alley is the Road to WrestleMania. WrestleMania is the biggest live event that they do. It's where careers and legends are made. Think of it as the Super Bowl of the wrestling world. It has been around since the SVR days. You select a superstar and see how their story unfolds. Here, they changed the formula by having a cohesive storyline. And I prefer this approach. Don't get me wrong, I love the other roads, but this makes the story feel connected.
Fair warning, these games do involve people that are now in a not-so-good light. And believe me, there are some shitty people I will mention. Just know they did leave a cultural impact, and wrestling would not be where it is today if they didn't exist. I mean, I do have my own opinions, but my main focus is to talk about these games, the matches, the campaigns, and give my critiques. With that out of the way, let's get started.
Our story begins with everyone's favorite small-town white boy rapper, John Cena. He is posed as the World Heavyweight Champion of Monday Night Raw. He has a match against The Undertaker, but as soon as he makes his way to the entrance stage, he gets attacked from behind by the Celtic warrior, Sheamus. This is where the game fakes you out, thinking you'll be able to play as babyface John, but instead, you're playing as the heel. I know the Cena Sucks peeps had a field day when this happened, and so marks the start of the villain story. Sheamus wants a title shot against Cena. However, he gets put into a 5v5 tag team match for bragging rights. He'll represent Team Raw into taking down Team SmackDown. This creates tension between the brands and even themselves. Triple H, the captain of Team Raw, states that whichever team wins will get future title matches. William Regal, another member of the team, whispers to Sheamus, saying he has an idea. The event bragging rights arrives and the match is set. It's an elimination tag team match, meaning if you get pinned, you are eliminated until there are no teammates remaining. We get down to 2 members for each team. Jack Swagger and Wade Barrett for Team SmackDown, and Edge and Sheamus for Team Raw. Just then, Sheamus and Wade attack their own partners. Regal and Drew McIntyre come out in support, and they all leave together, forming the United Kingdom. Technically, they didn't win the match, but they got their title opportunities after winning Survivor Series. John Cena announces he'll be facing Sheamus for the world title at TLC. He mentions that the last time they fought was at the same pay-per-view, and he stumbled and fell through a table for the Celtic Warrior to win the WWE Championship. He vows that this time, he will not stumble. Yeah, and I vow the belt is clearly clipping through your shirt. Sheamus claims that he will beat Cena again and goes to the ring to demonstrate. Just as they're about to brawl, Kofi Kingston makes his appearance and surprises Sheamus with a United States Championship match. Sheamus wins and relinquishes the championship, saying he doesn't want to represent the United States people who don't respect each other. Instead, he reinstates and declares himself as the European Champion. Now we get to TLC, and Cena is trying to land the attitude adjustment to Sheamus outside the ring, but it didn't connect all the way, and so Sheamus sent him outside the ring with the high cross and captured the World Heavyweight Championship. With that, the United Kingdom has all the gold. Sheamus with the European and World titles, Wade with the WWE title, Drew with the Intercontinental title and tag title along with Regal. Imagine if Wade and Drew swapped their singles titles, this game would have predicted their futures. Regal claims that they are the greatest faction in the company, better than the Four Horsemen. One of the former members, Arn Anderson, doesn't think so and announces that Cena will have his title rematch right now. The match itself was cut short by the UK, and for the rematch at Royal Rumble, Arn will be the enforcer, making sure no interference occurs. Sheamus attacks the winner of the Rumble, Triple H, who earned a world title shot at WrestleMania. For shits and giggles, Sheamus tries to hit Cena with a chair during their match, but Anderson stops him. As Cena's about to put him away, Arn attacks him with a chair, costing the match. The next event coming up is Elimination Chamber. It's where 6 men compete in a steel structure to become the last person standing. Sheamus and Wade must defend their titles in the match, so they want their comrades to qualify to gain the numbers advantage. Unfortunately, Drew did not qualify due to a miscommunication from Wade, so they take out one of the participants to let him take the open spot. At the chamber, Wade retained his title and Drew eliminated Cena, leaving him and Sheamus. Just then, Wade breaks in from underneath and puts Sheamus away, leaving Drew to win the match and capture the world title. Now that's a nice prediction. It only took 5 minutes and 46 seconds to come up with that idea. Ayo! The faction has fallen apart and it's every man for themselves. It's announced that all former members of the United Kingdom will compete in a fatal 4-way Falls Count Anywhere match for all the gold. Since Drew and Wade are working together, Sheamus wants to elect working with Regal, making the numbers game even. But when the match finally arrives, he turns on him and Regal is the first person to be eliminated. The second is Drew when he got bro-kicked and slammed into a car. The final 2 are him and Wade. They make their way to the entrance stage backstage, and Wade was about to hit a wasteland on Sheamus into a large stage light, but the Celtic Warrior counters and hits a high cross to it, pins him, and wins all the gold. I imagine this is where it spawns the meme of having a wrestler having all the championships. In a shocking twist, Sheamus has one more match to compete in, and the WWE title is on the line. His opponent? Triple H, who seeks revenge on the brutal assault and knocks him down a peg and wins his 16th world title. This begins the outsider story. Not really a fan of this part. It does have a good storyline with The Miz winning King of the Ring and being declared the new King of Kings, getting Triple H injured, forcing him to relinquish the title, and return after 11 months, setting a goal that he'll become a record-breaking 17th time world champion. But the middle parts are just plain silly. Miz has people called the Misfits protecting him and doing his dirty work. He gets injured from a match when steel steps fell on his legs, and he's appointed as the new general manager of SmackDown since he can't compete. He's just pissing off Triple H, and you could tell he is not having it. Turns out, Miz wasn't injured, really, and cost Triple H his chance at winning Money in the Bank. It all cultivates at SummerSlam, where it'll be a fatal four-way last man standing match between the King of Kings Triple H, the biggest thorn on his side, The Miz, his best friend slash enemy, Randy Orton, and the WWE Champion, Edge. After taking down some misfits and his opponents, Triple H has done it. He has become a 17th world champion and announces his retirement. It's a bittersweet moment with him sitting on the throne he has had in his entrances. He's holding back his tears as he says that he has nothing else to prove and gives his thanks to every fan in attendance. It's more emotional because the real life person is now the head of creatives, taking the company to greater heights, being a 14-time champion, and is a part of the Hall of Fame class of 2025. All I can say, he deserves every bit of his success. Thank you, Paul Levesque. Thank you, the game. Thank you, Triple H. Although he did marry the boss's daughter and is a little racist, just a little. We now get into the hero story. It lets you create a superstar that'll be the star named Jacob Cass. He wins NXT when it used to be a game show and will be a part of the main roster. He gets a warm welcome from Husky Harris, who attacks him backstage. Remember Bray Wyatt? Yep, same guy. May he rest in peace. The feud escalates at Survivor Series, where Cass teams up with his NXT mentor, Rey Mysterio, and Daniel Bryan against Harris, Justin Gabriel, and Wade Barrett, the first NXT winner. After the victory, Barrett beats down Cass as Michael Cole announces the new general manager of Raw and SmackDown. I would get that if the crowd didn't overpower the audio.
May I have your attention, please?
What?
I have just received word from the WWE Board of Directors,
What?
and I quote,
What?
"It is time to reveal the new
I
general
can't
manager
hear.
of SmackDown
What are you
Raw."
saying? The new manager happens to be none other than Kevin Nash, the same man who I first saw on Monday Night Raw. The next night, he explains he got the job from his buddy Triple H and reminisced about his time in WCW, or World Championship Wrestling, who was WWE's biggest competitor in the 90s. He wants to do a tribute show called Clash of the Champions and will bring a former WCW rep as a guest host leading up to it, like Arn Anderson, Vader, Animal, and Booker T. The event arises and Jacob Cass gets to go one-on-one with Booker after winning a match previously against Harris. He wins and we get to the main event. John Cena versus WCW legend Rey Mysterio for the World Heavyweight Championship. Just then, the WCW legends come out and viciously attack both competitors. Jacob Cass tried to help, but they were outnumbered and outmatched. The next night, Randy Orton announces that John will be out of action and will have to relinquish the world title. Kevin Nash announces that the winner of the Royal Rumble will win the world title. During the Rumble, it gets down to Cass, Big Show, and Cody Rhodes. The two gang up on Cass with Nash looking on. He's able to throw Cody out, but Big Show knocks his ass out, becoming the new World Heavyweight Champion. The reason why they turned on WWE is money. I mean, I would too if I was offered a buttload of cash. Now, these guys make sense because the Big Show was a part of the biggest faction in WCW, the New World Order, and Cody's father, Dusty Rhodes, was a legend in the same company and was treated like trash in WWE. They laid waste on the company, taking out Undertaker, Orton, and even Mysterio. He had it the worst when Big Show yeeted his ass to the announce table. I don't know how he's still alive after that. Cass cuts a promo that other big names are still here and declares he will win his match to qualify for the Elimination Chamber. Big Show comes out with a crutch on his left, saying he supposedly suffered a case of turf toe. What the f? is a turf toe? Oh, it's an actual injury to the big toe joint. He then says that the WWE title is vacant since Taker was taken out. He can't compete, so the winner of the chamber will become the new WWE champion. I find it funny that Cena and Taker held the same titles as they did at the start of the campaign. It's not a big deal, I just thought I would mention it. Jacob Cass qualifies and after a 3-on-1 handicap match gets attacked by Kevin Nash. Out of nowhere, Triple H returns and wants to help take out Cass, but he goes after Nash and Booker. Triple H is now the new general manager and announces that Nash will compete in the chamber. It gets down between Nash and Cass with a mysterious opponent still lingering. Take out US and you get Mysterio, who takes out Cass to align himself with WCW. He eliminates Nash and wins the WWE title. This is their apology for when Ray actually held the title for 2 hours. Ayo! Here's the conflict. Kevin Nash wants to bring back WCW Monday Nitro to its formal glory, and Triple H wants him and his group gone. At WrestleMania, it'll be an elimination tag match. Kevin Nash and Rey Mysterio versus Triple H and Jacob Cass. If Team Triple H wins, they get the titles back. If Team Nash wins, they will bring back WCW. Triple H gets a leg up by eliminating Nash, but then Ray follows up and eliminates him. It's now teacher versus student. WCW versus WWE at the grandest stage of them all. Ray was able to use Cass to hit the ref so that he wouldn't get the pin. Just when he's about to hit a high-flying move, Nash strikes him with a crowbar, leading Ray to get the victory. It's over. WWE now has a new name, one they feared back then. WCW Nitro is back. Wait, it's over? Oh, no, they did a fake out.
Surprise!
Off! I thought this feud would end, but nope. Triple H wants to go all in. Since WCW is still owned by WWE, he wants to do a 6v6 Hell in a Cell elimination match. If Team WWE wins, they get control of Monday Night again. But if Team WCW wins, they take control of the whole company. Nash's condition is that it will take place at Starrcade, one of WCW's events. After some brawls, with one putting Cody in the trunk, this is more hilarious because he's now the top star in real life, it's time for the match. Triple H has Sheamus and Cass, but he also got John Cena, Undertaker, and the chairman, Mr. McMahon. It gets down to the final two, Kevin Nash versus Jacob Cass. Not after Nash brutally beats McMahon with a crowbar. If you ask me, I think he deserves it. He showboats thinking he has won the match. He makes the cover and Jacob Cass barely kicks out. He still has some fight left in him. Cass gets Nash out of the ring and attempts a suicide dive, but it got countered and he was sent through the cell wall. He won't stay down, and so Nash goes for a jackknife powerbomb until Cass holds onto the cell and starts the climb. Nash follows suit and they start battling on top of the cell. Nash then taunts his opponent and Cass takes him down through the top of the cell, through the ring itself. They struggle to get back up, but Cass was the better man and wins. WCW Monday Nitro is dead, and WWE Monday Night Raw is back. So, do I still disagree with that 5.5 score? No, not really. I don't think it's that low considering the graphics are more polished and the road to WrestleMania is one big storyline, but the moves are basic to perform, the story has a bunch of filler matches, and the detection still has problems. However, I still hold WWE 12 near and dear to my heart because it was the first wrestling game I owned. It does have its flaws, but it was such a joy to go back to. Thankfully, its sequel is a million times better in every way. WWE 13 was released on October 30th, 2012, and was the last WWE game published by THQ before filing for bankruptcy in 2013. It uses the tagline, "Live the Revolution," as it updated the Predator technology, and instead of Road to WrestleMania, it has the Attitude Era, which many claim was one of the best eras for the company. It features CM Punk on the cover, since at that time, he was one of the biggest stars and was revolutionizing the company when it felt stagnant and child-friendly. I understand that having a PG is better for advertisers, but as a 12-year-old with a mohawk, yes, I had a shitty mohawk, I was growing tired of the kiddie stuff and in turn connected with him more than any other wrestler. Hell, while doing research, I found out that Sheamus was WWE's initial choice for the cover, but THQ objected and chose Punk instead. Maybe that's why they went bankrupt. The game is pretty much the same as before. It was released 11 months after 12, so it was to be expected. However, it has more fluid animation, better weight detection, better precision, new moves, new OMG moments, and updated collision. These changes and updates make the game so much better than its predecessor. It has the same modes except for the Attitude Era. You must complete objectives to unlock characters, arenas, matches, etc. They did a WCW storyline in the last game, and now they're showing the history of the Monday Night Wars. Great, because I was confused as when this happened. Before WWE became the phenomenon phenomenon it is today, it was known as World Wrestling Federation, or WWF. They changed their name due to a lawsuit with the World Wildlife Foundation, or WWF. That's why you'll see censors from the logo and cutting people off saying the company's previous name. Monday Night Raw aired in 1993, with Nitro following suit in 1995. They went back and forth for ratings until WCW got ahead and remained the better show for 2 years. Probably because they made Hulk Hogan turn heel and join the NWO, exposing the asshole that he is. Sorry about that. WWE needed to create a more innovative and contemporary campaign that is not afraid to be controversial. Thus, the Attitude Era was born. And it all started with a group of degenerates.
We are the generation that eat. You make your rules, and we will break them.
Shawn Michaels and Triple H were dominating together, with Shawn capturing the European Championship against the British Bulldog. Hunter Hearst Helmsley, who goes by Triple H, was tired of sitting on the sidelines and wanted to take matters in his own hands and aligned with the biggest star, the Heartbreak Kid. In reality, these two, along with Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, were best friends who called themselves the Clique. In fiction, or kayfabe as the business calls it, they had stories, matches, and rivalries that pitted against each other. That was until a fan recorded the aftermath of a live show, where they all hugged and congratulated each other, shattering the glass between worlds. This moment was known as the curtain call. Due to the rise of the internet, the company did not like that this was shared around, as they wanted to separate fiction from reality. Who would take the punishment for this? Not Kevin and Scott, since they were leaving the company. Not Shawn, since he was the world champion at that time. The only person left to take the blow was Paul Levesque, aka Triple H. He was seen losing matches, looking weak against his opponents. The curtain call was never mentioned on television, so nobody knew why he wasn't getting any push. In this promo, Triple H gave Vince McMahon verbal shots about the Clique and that he will never break him and Shawn apart. He wants to take matters into his own hands and kick every superstar's ass that the company liked more. You wanna know why people love this shit? When they can take real life moments and use it to fuel their storylines. For Paul, he used that to make his presence known, elevating his talent. And the match at Survivor Series 1997 proves the blurred line between fiction and reality in wrestling even more. After Shawn won the first ever Hell in a Cell match against Undertaker thanks to an interference by Kane, who just debuted and is claimed to be Taker's brother, wrestling is fucking weird, he gets a shot against the WWE champion, Bret the Hitman Hart. He won the title from Taker at SummerSlam with Shawn as the special guest referee, which started the Attitude Era. These two hate each other, both in story and real life. Bret calls Shawn a degenerate, forming him and Hunter's team named D-Generation X, Shawn implying that Bret had an affair with one of the female wrestlers, seeing quote-unquote sunny days. It was insane. What's more insane is Bret's contract was expiring and he planned to go to WCW. With no WWE contract renewal in sight and Bret not wanting to lose the title to Shawn, Vince was in a pickle. He feared Bret would embarrass and mock the company by bringing the title with him. Originally, the match was going to end with Bret still the champ. Vince hoped the title would be dropped before Bret goes to WCW, but out of desperation, when Shawn had the Hitman in his own finisher, the Sharpshooter, he called for the bell, ending the match and claimed Michaels won via submission. Whoever knew about this finish is up in the air. One thing's for certain, Bret was not happy. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. He spat in Vince's face for screwing him over. To make matters worse, this took place in Bret's home country of Canada, so fans were very upset and very enraged. This would be known as the Montreal Screwjob, one of the most infamous moments in wrestling history. I know I gave the SparkNotes version and left out a lot of details. If you want to learn more, I highly recommend watching Screwed from Cultaholic Wrestling, sharing the complete story of the Montreal Screwjob. For now, let's get back to Mr. McMahon now becoming the vilest villain in WWE. I mean, he already is, but now he's self-aware. He has no sympathy for his employees, especially Bret, and the fans were fuming. They needed a hero to take down this monster. Who would go against a sinister, well-dressed businessman? It would be a certain foul-mouthed, blue-collar redneck from Victoria, Texas.
Talk about your Psalms, talk about John 3:16. Austin 3:16 says I just whipped your ass.
If Hulk Hogan believed in the saying, eat some vitamins and say your prayers, then Stone Cold Steve Austin believes in the saying, drink your beer and raise some hell. He was the opposite of Mr. McMahon, the perfect protagonist to the antagonist. The fans love Austin. He was the top star in this era. He would get his WrestleMania match against the WWE champion Shawn Michaels when he won the 1998 Royal Rumble. For its 14th annual event, Mr. McMahon needed some star power, regardless of controversy. He brought in the baddest man on the planet, Iron Mike Tyson, to be the special enforcer for the championship match. It was a wild choice considering he has allegations regarding not-so-friendly stuff. He aligned himself with DX, putting Austin at a disadvantage. The Rattlesnake does not give a damn as he cannot be broken, and that's the bottom line. Austin was able to win when the ref was knocked out, and Tyson made the count. Afterwards, he knocked the daylights out of Shawn, betraying him. Stone Cold Steve Austin is now the WWE Champion. Of course, Mr. McMahon hates this and does everything in his power to make Austin's life a living hell. For the champ, that only aggravated him even more. It is important to note that this feud propelled Raw past Nitro for the first time in 2 years. We get a graph on the loading screen showing where the two shows were in terms of ratings. I like this detail as it shows the passage of time to when and where they were. McMahon tried using Mick Foley or Dude Love to put Austin away, but couldn't get the job done. So Vince fired him. Don't worry, he'll be back later. Then, out of the depths of the shadows comes a dead man, a phenom who believed his time will come to get his title back that he lost at SummerSlam. However, he was forced to go to war with his brother Kane, who aligned himself with Taker's former manager, Paul Bearer.
And after the last 8 months, I've had enough. Now it's time. The Undertaker got what is rightfully his.
McMahon gives him a #1 contenders match, but it'll be against his brother. He lost the match thanks to an interference by Mankind. See, I told you he would be back. Undertaker and Mankind would settle their difference at King of the Ring 1998 inside Hell in a Cell. Most of their fight was spent on top of the cell, leading to one of the craziest moments in all of wrestling. Undertaker pushing Mankind off the cell and through the announce table. He fell over 16 feet through a table, and he got up like it was nothing, practically asking for more. It ends with Taker choke slamming him through the top of the cell into the ring, winning by pinfall. This just shows how much these people put their bodies and lives on the line for the sake of entertainment, and it's fascinating. Almost beautiful. Every wrestler slash superstar is doing whatever they can to achieve their goals. For Taker, he wants his title match, and so he lays waste on Austin, Kane, and Mankind. Unfortunately, his brother came out on top and won the WWE Championship. The next night, Austin won back the title from another Undertaker interference. Austin performed the Stunner on Taker, a payback from King of the Ring. This would set up a triple threat #1 contenders match for Austin's title. Undertaker did not show up, so it was between Kane and Mankind, with the former getting the victory. Then he removes his mask, revealing it was Undertaker all along. He finally gets his championship match at SummerSlam 1998. Austin wins over Taker, and McMahon has a new plan. The next championship match will be a triple threat, but the catch is, the Brothers of Destruction can't pin each other, putting Austin at another disadvantage. The match ends with both brothers pinning Austin at the same time. Austin lost the title, but there is no decisive winner. He would be the referee for Undertaker versus Kane, and McMahon says that if he doesn't raise the hand of the new champion, he'll be fired. So in Stone Cold fashion, he took out both competitors and was fired on the spot. That didn't stop him as he made his appearance in camo, hunting for the boss. Why is Vince in a wheelchair? Don't worry about it. He brought a frightened McMahon to the ring with an armed weapon, and for a moment you'd go, oh god, is Austin gonna kill McMahon on national television?
If you want Vince's eyes to pop out in front of his head, give me a hell yeah.
Oh my, it's a total.
I mean, come on. They would never. But you gotta admit, that was f***ing funny. Austin would later be rehired by Vince's son, Shane. He puts his obsession with Austin on the back burner as he has his eyes set on another superstar rising to stardom with the people backing him up.
The Rock is and will forever be the people's champ.
Before becoming a Hollywood sellout, he was the self-proclaimed Great One, the People's Champion, the most electrifying man in sports entertainment. He's known as Dwayne Johnson, but in wrestling, he's The Rock. With his rise to fame, McMahon had a problem with the people, and therefore with the People's Champion. He put Rock against the Intercontinental Champion, Ken Shamrock, with the stipulation that if he doesn't win, he won't be put into the Survivor Series tournament that will crown a new WWE Champion. He wins and surpasses 14 other men in the tournament, with one kind man standing between him and the championship. They have an all-out battle until The Rock put Mankind in the sharpshooter. McMahon calls for the bell, awarding The Rock with the title. is the Montreal Screwjob all over again. This time, it's with Mankind, the man who saw Vince as a role model, a father figure, screwing him over. I don't know why you see Vince as a role model, but I'll let it slide this time for the sake of the story. Mick Foley just can't catch a break. He's been a wrestling fan since he was a teenager, occupying multiple personas, or gimmicks as the business calls it. Dude Love, a hippie who shares a lot of love. Cactus Jack, a hardcore wrestler who likes to wrap weapons in barbed wire and go to the extreme. It would be his Mankind gimmick, an innocent yet deranged man-child that would push him to stardom. He even has a move where he puts a sock in his arm and gags his opponent until they pass out. I love it. He dreams of becoming a world champion. He dreams of being at the top of the mountain. But with The Rock having the entire corporation in his corner, he might be at a loss. His dream may be unachievable. That won't stop him.
Mick Foley takes a licking and keeps on ticking.
This is the same man who fell 16 feet through a table. He will risk his life. He will inflict pain on anyone to get a title shot in a no disqualification match. That's exactly what he did to Shane McMahon. He screams in agony with his father helplessly looking on. For a moment you almost feel bad for him, and then you realize it's Vince McMahon. He deserves to be treated like this. He accepts, and the match is set. January 4th, 1999, Worcester, Massachusetts. It's Mankind, the people's favorite, versus The Rock, the corporate champion. If he wants to achieve his lifelong dream, he needs to fight for his life to make his dream into reality. The match is intense. Fists are flying, objects being used, Stone Cold coming to Mankind's aid, knocking out the Great One with a chair right on the head, leading to Mick Foley going for the pin, batter and bruised. 1, 2, 3!
Mankind did it! Mick Foley has done it! Mankind's achieved a dream, and the dream of everyone else who's been told that you can't do it.
I know I'm not doing it justice, but damn it if that wasn't a feel-good story for the ages. Here's the craziest part. WCW had a habit of spoiling Monday Night Raw when it was not live on air. This would lead people to stay on Nitro. On this night, they announced that Mankind won the WWE Championship. Instead of people staying, they jumped over to Raw to witness the victory with their own eyes. This caused Raw to win the ratings that night and never lost again. Honestly, if I grew up during this era, Mankind would 100% be my favorite wrestler. It's so good seeing him get his moment in the spotlight. It did not last long, as a back and forth ended with The Rock winning it in a ladder match 1 month later, which means he'll be at WrestleMania 15 as champion. Who will be his opponent? Well, that was an uphill battle for one Stone Cold Steve Austin. The new appointed commissioner, Shawn Michaels, announces that Stone Cold and Vince McMahon will be the first two entrants in the Royal Rumble match. They go at it, even leaving the ring to fight all over the arena. However, Austin gets ambushed and sent to the hospital. After some time, the Rattlesnake returns, and he and McMahon are the final two. The Rock comes out to taunt Austin, which left an opening for the Boss to toss the Rattlesnake over the top rope and win the match. Let me repeat. The Boss won a Battle Royale, earning a championship match at WrestleMania! What's next? He's gonna become WWE Champion in the future? God damn it. Luckily, Commissioner Michaels appointed Austin to the match. Funny that Shawn and Steve battle for the same title at WrestleMania 14 and now working together for 15. I don't understand why this happened though. The Rumble winner always gets a title shot. I guess McMahon was planning on ejecting himself out of the match so that Rock would stay champion, but then it would leave the runner-up to fill in that spot. That makes the most sense to me, but it didn't explain that clearly. Austin puts his title shot on the line if Vince faces him in a steel cage match. He agrees, and it's a one-sided beatdown. At the end, Paul White, aka Big Show, makes his debut from underneath the ring and destroys Austin. He flings him towards the cage, but it opens and Austin landed on his feet outside, winning the match. And so, we arrive at WrestleMania 15, the main event. No disqualification for the WWE Championship. The Rock versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. One man has a whole corporation in his corner. The other has only his tenacity and will to fight. They had an intense battle, fighting at the entrance, at the announce table. Both men are proving they are some tough sons of bitches. McMahon enters to berate Austin, with the other flipping the bird. Rock took the advantage and gave a low blow. Vince knocked the ref out and gave Austin what for. Mankind saves him and is the new referee since he won a match against Austin. The match ends with Rock countering the stunner, with Austin countering the Rock bottom and landing his finisher. Austin has defied the odds and is WWE Champion once again. Of course, Vince is pissed. However, he was delighted as WCW superstars started shifting over to WWE. Big Show, Chris Jericho, Eddie Guerrero, and more. It wasn't until around March of 2001 that McMahon bought WCW, a move that was unprecedented at the time. Being on top of the ratings chart, they've been generating more money from ticket sales and merch. WWE also became a public traded company on October 19th, 1999, meaning they got shareholders supporting them. McMahon really had the wrestling world in the palm of his hands. Not anymore, thankfully. Ayo! That was the story of the Attitude Era campaign. It ended on May 6, 2002, when the company changed their name from WWF to WWE. I did focus on the main portion and left out a good chunk of other matches that can be played. The rise of the New Age Outlaws, X-Pac, Shane McMahon. There's also an off-the-script section, including the debut of SmackDown, Edge and Christian, Lita, and Trish Stratus. However, there are some darker moments during this time that WWE purposely left out. I don't want to get into them, but I thought I should mention.
While I do believe WWE 13 did a great job with its presentation of this era, it's a more glorified look into 90s culture with cruel violence, sex appeal, and being edgy. Me personally, I don't have a problem with it. The usage of violence can tell a compelling story if done right. I love me a pair of titties, and my favorite Sonic character is Shadow the fucking Hedgehog. This is my favorite wrestling game out of the three. Let's talk about 2K14.
WWE 2K14 was released on October 29th, 2013. It was the first WWE game published by 2K. They bought the rights when THQ sold their properties because of their bankruptcy. It has The Rock on the cover and uses the tagline, "Become Immortal." Quit f***ing looking at me like that. With the new publisher, let's see what changes. It's the same damn game again. It does have more fluid movement, updated Create a Superstar, and new OMG moments. It's still the same damn game. All three games were developed by Yuke's, who have been making WWE games since 2000. Their last one was 2K19, and 2K Sports have been making the newer ones since. Once again, the only difference is its campaign. 30 years of WrestleMania. This is a celebration of the best matches for the showcase of the Immortals. It's more like 29 years because that year was their 30th anniversary, and at that time, no matches have happened yet. However, it's a good insight into the time these matches took place. What I really love is the usage of QuickTime events to showcase special moments. It's not cohesive and focuses on specific matches, 45 in total. I won't go over every single one, just the ones I personally love. Side note, I'm only saying the number because I'm not going to play the WrestleMania drinking game. That would be too many to say. 3 held one of the greatest Intercontinental Championship matches, with Ricky the Dragon Steamboat going up against Macho Man Randy Savage. Knocking the ref out, there'll be a lot of those. Savage hits the elbow drop, but no count was made. Eventually, Ricky performed a leverage pin to win the match and the title. The same event had an irresistible force meeting an immovable object for the WWE Championship. Andre the Giant, with a 15-year undefeated streak, challenged Hulk Hogan for the title. It seemed like Andre had Hulk's number, but the Immortal persevered and slammed the Giant, hitting the leg drop and retaining his championship. 6 pitted Hogan against the Intercontinental Champion, the Ultimate Warrior. With his rise to stardom, Warrior offers the ultimate challenge. One-on-one, title for title. Both men gave everything they had, but Warrior came out on top, becoming double champion. 10 had the first ever ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship. Shawn Michaels had to vacate the title due to not defending it enough. His opponent, Razor Ramon, won the vacant title, and both men now fighting to be the true undisputed champion. Despite Diesel getting involved, Razor clutched through and won with both titles in each hand. For the WWE Championship, Bret Hart seeks to correct the mistake against the champ Yokozuna when he was defeated at 9. Thankfully, this douche won't politic his way into this one. Hart gave it his all and won the title. 12 held the historic 60-minute Iron Man match, with Bret Hart putting the title on the line against Shawn Michaels. Whoever had the most falls after 60 minutes would be the winner. At the end, neither competitor had a point, so the match had to go to overtime. Michaels capitalized and won his very first world title. 13 had one of the most brutal submission matches of all time. Stone Cold Steve Austin was rising to fame and was a thorn on the side of Bret Hart. He became jealous that Austin was getting popularity over him, so Bret gave him the beating of his life, pummeling his damaged leg, wrapping it around the ring post, and having him in the sharpshooter. Austin, being one tough SOB, endured until he passed out. Even though Hart won the match, Austin was the real winner here. Austin's rivalry with The Rock made it to 3 WrestleManias, the first being 15, which I already talked about, the second at 17, with Austin the challenger against WWE Champion champion The Rock once more. Another brutal no disqualification match, except this time, McMahon helped Austin win the title. These bitter enemies have become allies in a moment that shocked the world, even more so that it took place in Austin's home state of Texas. The third and final encounter at 19, when The Rock vows to beat Stone Cold at WrestleMania, a feat he has never done. This was after Rock came back from Hollywood and Austin came back from injury. Against all odds, Rock picked up the victory against his arch rival. Back to 18 and housed Icon versus Icon, The Rock versus Hulk Hogan. It began with a backstage segment of Hogan asking for a picture with The Rock that escalated to back and forth insults. One thing led to another, they set up a match at the Showcase of the Immortals. Rock wins and they have this moment of respect. Handshakes, hugs, you can tell this was one for the ages. 20 sees the rise of John Cena. His Thuganomics gimmick resonated with audiences in the early 2000s. He gets his big break when he earned a United States Championship match against The Big Show. He used brass knuckles to knock Show out and captured his very first title in WWE. 21 has him again, except this time for the WWE Championship against JBL. I like the buildup of Cena losing his chance if he hit JBL, but if JBL hits him, Cena can strike back. He tried playing mind games to get the champ to hit him. The match itself was alright, but the build-up made it better in my opinion. 22 had one of the best hardcore matches with Edge versus Mick Foley. The spear through a burning table is a moment etched in greatness and put Edge as a main event star. 24 had an emotional moment when Shawn Michaels put down Ric Flair, ending his career, with Michaels saying, "I'm sorry, I love you," before hitting the sweet chin music, comforting his friend after the victory, seeing Flair's eyes all red and tears flowing out of them. This was Ric Flair's last match, and a great one at that. Until he did his actual last match 14 years later, making the WrestleMania match lose impact. 26 had Shawn Michaels against The Undertaker after falling short of victory from their legendary WrestleMania 25 match. The added stipulation is if Shawn loses, his career is over. He put up a valiant effort until he came up short again, making Undertaker's legendary streak 18-0. Triple H would get one final shot against the streak at 28 after failing twice with the one at 27. Taker couldn't even walk on his own. This one will be inside Hell in a Cell, with Shawn Michaels acting as the special guest referee. It was madness. Hunter using a steel chair, his trusty sledgehammer, and a sweet chin music pedigree combo on Taker, but it wasn't enough. Taker prevailed and his streak is at a glorious 20-0. All three men walking together up the ramp, showing respect for one another, marking the end of an era. CM Punk versus Chris Jericho at 28? Nothing value to say other than to glaze my punky boo. Punk did have a great match with Taker at 29. Winning a fatal 4-way for a shot was the shittiest way of facing Taker. Even though using the late Paul Bearer was unsettling, the buildup was entertaining as Punk used the urn filled with Bearer's ashes to enrage and intimidate the dead man. However, it wasn't enough, adding another win to Taker's streak. 21-0. I did enjoy both Cena versus Rock matches for another Icon versus Icon, but I prefer the first bout more than the second, mainly because it was a once-in-a-lifetime match against two generational stars, only to have it again that next year with a championship on the line that was snubbed from CM Punk, ending his 434-day reign. My boy deserves the main event spot, Dwayne. That's only a fraction of what the mode offers. They had plenty of other matches that were better picks, but during this time, certain wrestlers were in other companies like Kurt Angle and the Hardy Boys, and it's difficult to choose matches representing one specific WrestleMania. I do find it strange that they didn't include Michaels vs. Austin at 14 when they had the model for Mike Tyson, Batista vs. Triple H at 21, Edge vs. Undertaker at 24, and the most surprising one, Michaels vs. Taker at 25. There is a separate mode regarding the streak, where you can defend and or defeat the streak. It's a great mode celebrating one of the most respected men in the company, only for his streak to be broken by Brock Lesnar at 30. I had to choose him for canon purposes, unfortunately. Those were the WWE games I grew up with. Even now, I do think they hold up as good games, especially 13. I remember playing the hell out of them and making some online friends. Sadly, it's been 10 years since, and I don't use my Xbox that often. I did fall out of wrestling in 2015, watched it every now and then starting in 2021, only to be fully back after WrestleMania 40. Why is that? Because I was a teenager and didn't like the kiddie stuff and simple good guy, bad guy storylines. It's so much better now that Paul Levesque, Triple H, is taking charge of the company. Does it have problems? Yes. Could it be better? Absolutely. However, I'm enjoying everything it has to offer. I think it's because I became wiser with each passing year and understand that it's a performance. They're trying to tell stories. What they can do with those stories is what makes it entertaining for me. There will be hits and misses, but when they find their footing, it can lead to something great. Even if you don't like WWE, there are plenty of other promotions to choose from. AEW, TNA, Ring of Honor, New Japan, wrestling is in a much better place. I'm not trying to get you into it, but know that it was a big part of my life, and coming back after so long is a story in and of itself. Going back to these games was exciting, and whether you prefer the more recent titles, that's fine. I figured I would share them and relive some of my favorite moments. I'm sure there's a property that you fell out of. Give it another shot. Maybe you'll get back into it. You never know until you try. Okay, now that that's done, you, and especially you!